Hi, thank you for joining me for another art video. In this week's video, I'm going to show you the colors on my palette. I will tell you a bit more about each color, what I use it for, and how I mix it together to create my paintings. White would be the color that I use most. I very seldomly use white on its own. I usually mix it with another color to get a lighter shade. And even if I paint something that is white, for instance a white shirt, I will use very little white on its own because I will usually mix in other colors to create shadows and the folds on the clothes. So you will very seldomly see that I use white on its own in a painting. Payne's Grey is another color that I love to use, and I use it in all of my paintings. I do not use black, so I will often mix Payne's Grey into the other colors to get the darker shades. I also use Payne's Grey when I paint sky, and I'm very fond of painting clothes with Payne's Grey. When I squeeze it out, you will see it looks black, but when I mix it with white, you will see that it gets a lovely grayish blue color. Next, let's look at the browns that I use. Van Dyke brown is a very dark brown color, and I will also use it as a replacement for black and mix it into other colors to get darker shades. And then I will also use it for dark brown parts, like for painting the dark parts of soil or tree branches, and yes, anything dark brown. Burnt sienna is a reddish brown. I do not use it on its own a lot. I usually mix it with other colors, and I will use it when I paint skin or soil, trees, and sand, and I've even used it when painting a sunset sky. So this is a very handy color. Burnt umber is a chocolate brown, and this is the brown that I use most. I will use it when I paint anything that has got brown in it, and I will also use it to mix into other colors to get a darker shade. I will show you just now when we get to the red and the green. And I'll also use this to get the darker parts when painting skin. So then I will mix it with the burnt sienna. Then I buy cadmium red deep hue. This is the only red that I buy. I used to buy a more primary red, but after painting a while I realized that I always mix it to be a darker red, and so now I just buy a deeper red, and I use the red and mix it with burnt umber to get a darker shade of red, like this. I will mix the red with white to get a lighter shade, and then I will also put in a little bit of yellow ochre to keep it from turning pink. So on the topic of pink then, when I mix my red and my white, I will get a pink, and I don't buy the pink, I always mix it because I do not use it a lot. And the more white I put into my red, or the more white I mix in, the more baby pink I will get, and the more red I will put into the mixture, it will become a more cerise pink. For the yellows, I love to use yellow ochre. It works very well with green, and I use it when painting trees and leaves and grass, and especially when I paint winter grass that's got more autumn colors. Primary yellow is great to brighten up green. I will show you just now when we get to the greens, and then I will also sometimes mix it with white to get a soft yellow, but this is not a color that I use in my paintings very often. I use sap green, and I like to mix a variation of greens by using my yellows, browns, and even sometimes blues. When I mix green with primary yellow, I get a bright green color, and if I mix it with yellow ochre, it gives me a more filthy green color. I mix green with burnt umber to get a darker shade of green, and if I want a really dark shade, I will mix it with Van Dyke brown or sometimes Payne's grey. I recently painted a mountain landscape, and I mixed blue and green to get the color for the mountains in the distance. And this painting is also an example where I mixed blue and green together to get the turquoise color of the cupboard, and I used Payne's grey for the darker shades. For the blues, I use cerulean, cobalt, and French ultramarine. I use the cerulean the most of the three. I will use these colors when I paint water sometimes or sky, and then I also use the cerulean to mix with green to get that turquoise color that I will show you. Thank you for watching this video. I hope it will help you with your color mixing.